Hello guys, Susanna here. Well, this is what I'm up to with my sleeves. Actually, I might zoom it out a little and then I'll zoom back in. Okay, I was not 100% happy with it until I put this piece in the middle. I think that worked better. So what else did I do? I put that on there because I forgot about the writing, and then I found this gorgeous piece of lace. And because my other pieces have got lace on the bottom of it, but not here. And so I've got all that pinned down, and then I thought, well, while I've got all the bits and pieces out, I'll do the other part. So that's this part. And while I was chatting to Corinne, as I do on you know, our little chat sessions, we were on the thing for 3 hours, I started stitching this. And this piece here is like a Roxy piece, and there's that other little piece. So it's fairly similar, got that bit. So I've started stitching. You can sort of see, actually, this is that now where I zoom in. Done stitching along here. I'm going to put that there. Yeah, so I've done the stitching here. I've got to stitch this down yet, and I've just got that pinned. I'm currently stitching the yo-yo down, and then I've got to do that. So originally I had that there, but I think it is better here, and that bit there. Sort of want it covering that there. Do I go in a bit? Yeah, it needs to go in. So some of that writing will be covered, but that's okay. So it's similar but different. Just beautiful. So I'm probably going to continue stitching on this part while I'm yapping to you. But while I've got you, I've got extra bits and pieces. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been purchasing on my website. Most of the normal pieces I had, I've got 5 left there from the next lot, because I'd only cut up the one piece, and there was, you know, the couch and the 2 chairs. So I had a few like odd pieces. So this is the same as the other one, but they're rectangle. And what are the size of them? 72 by 37 centimeters. So they're actually a little bit sort of bigger in places but smaller in others. So they're $20, and I've only got 3 of them. So so if you want to get a piece, so they're sort of, yeah, because they're rectangle, they're, you know, bigger in some places and smaller in others, but they are a bit smaller. So I thought I'll put $20 on them. Then I've got 4 pieces, and I thought I'll take these out, and these are larger pieces, and this is from the 2 chairs, the back of the 2 chairs and the back of the couch. And so the back of the 2 chairs, no, this is the back of the couch. So you see how big these are? Like, they're huge. I might even go out again. They're massive. And these are not like these. I only had a limited amount of ones with the lilies. Well, lily. And that's the centerpiece of it, and that's massive. So these are $35, and the measurement, so there's 2 squares, and then there's 2 odd shapes. So the back, these 2 squares were from the back of the couch, which I cut in half, and then I cut all the odds and ends off. And then there's a real odd shape one, which is basically the same size as this one. I'll show you. Just gorgeous. I love the lily, being, you know, lilies is my favourite flower, as any of you being on this channel long enough know that. But this is a really odd shaped one, because these 2 odd shaped ones are the ones that go in the couch, not the couch, the back of the chairs. And you can just see how that's sort of being stuck in the back. And it's pretty much the same in most places, but in some bits, like going from here to here, there to there, you know, it's 100 centimetres in the largest points, but it's 77 by 70, whereas the square is 77. Yeah, but 77 by 70, so it's basically the same, but then at the longest point, they're 100 centimetres. So if you get the odd shape, which is very odd, yeah, but they're the backs of the chairs. So you could probably still cut out your square bit if you want that, and then you've got leftover bits, and they're nice and bright, but they've got this part that's in the middle. So I've just placed them in the same lot, because they're basically the same, pieces, because they've all got the lilies in them. I mean, yeah. So if you are really wanting just the square, let me know. I'm just gonna, whoever buys them, I'll just, whatever pack I've got, I'll just grab it. Yeah. So just if there's a particular one that you want, let me know if it's still available. But I've got 4 in total. So with the lilies, I do have an odd one with a lily on the back of it, which is a little bit smaller, which would be about $30. I've only got one of those, and I've just sort of kept it aside. And I've also got a really big piece, which that might be from the back of the couch. I'm not sure. They were just really odd shapes, which I'm keeping for myself. And I was thinking of turning into a vest, because it's got the lily in the middle and then 2 sort of like, so it's big enough to do a vest. And it'd be really nice to do some thread painting, which we've done with Roxy's Journal of Stitch You, but I really want to do some nice thread painting and stuff, because it just lends itself to it. It's just beautiful. So that'll be my next clothing project, but it may not be that soon, because I'm still working on this, so that might be a little bit later. That'll be ready for summer. This is a winter project, so the vest will probably be a summer project. And I might just put the lining on the back of that calico, maybe, so that it's not as thick, as this has got the wadding. Okay, well, I will continue stitching. So, and yeah, keep an eye out. I've also got, on the bottom of the couch, it had fringing, and that, like, it was, folded up, and so I've got quite a lot of long pieces about there that wide, which is probably about as wide as this. So how wide is that? I'm just guessing here. And then it's got the hem as well, so it's 10 inches, so about 26 centimeters. So that's how wide they are, and then I can have long pieces. So that's something I might even make some packs with those in it, with other florals. So I've got lots of little bits and pieces, and then I've also got these, I'll just stitch and talk, these really cute pieces that are like stocking shape. They must have been, where they're sort of like they're shaped oddly like that, and you can make them into a stocking, and then sort of pre-cut like that, because they were sort of the inserts of the arms at the front, I think. So I've got 6 of them, and I think they're really cute, and I thought they'd make really nice little stockings that you could, add other little bits of pieces, because you'd had that fabric on the front, and then you'd just add, maybe Christmas fabric or something at the back of it, because that's the main piece that you would see, would be that piece. Okay, we'll just put that away for now. Just continue on. Yeah, so I've got all sorts of little bits and pieces, and I've got some strips as well, because there was little strip bits in between the the pillows, the front, so the width of the pillows. So I've got a whole heap of strips, and Corinne purchased a couple of my pieces, and so I just chucked in some strips with hers, a little bit extra, because you'll probably use them for slow stitching. So I'm probably gonna, along the way, when I get time, make extra little packs and bits and pieces, but for now I'm just portioning off the bigger pieces. And those lily pieces, the one with the lily, it's just gorgeous. It's really big. They're quite big pieces, so they would probably be great to, you know, make a jacket, or if you want to make a vest along with me. And even some of the other pieces, the original pieces that they were sort of all a little bit of odd size, they would make a great piece for a back of a jacket or a vest. So if you've got those pieces and you've just bought it because it's too beautiful and you don't know what to do with it, you could probably wait. And I'm going to do some, you know, a bit of thread painting and make a vest. So I've got so much, and I thought I've got to make something special out of this fabric because it is stunning. And I mean, I've never seen that design before because it's 75 years old, so probably a lot of that fabric is not around anymore. And yeah, so I've got to make something special with it because it is very beautiful, and it's this gorgeous linen-y upholstery fabric, which would have been thicker in the day, and in over 75 years it's softened all the bums on the seats and bodies. So yeah, I think it should be nice to sew with. There we go. I think this yo-yo, I might put a button in because the whole of that's pretty big. So yeah, that was the one I picked up in when I was putting it down for the other one, and it didn't quite work. Whereas here, the reason why I opted for that is because, oh, those flowers, where are they? They must have fallen down. Here they are. They haven't been pinned down yet. Yeah, see, they had that yellow in the centre. So just plonk that there. So they're similar, but they're different. And then this one just worked really well. And there's this little bit that we got from Rachel and Sarah from when we did our course with them in December last year. And it just went really well because it's got the blues and sort of a pinky red, but that's sort of a, you know, pinky red, and same here. So yes, it goes really well. Yeah, I really love this piece. And the other one, like, I loved this straight away, and the other one I'm like, oh, I don't know, I love it. And this matches the front panel, but like, it's just not until I put that down that I like, now I love it. Because before it was, and then I added this as well because I forgot that I had that. And when I was sort of cleaning up, still a mess, I'm like, oh, I've got them to put down yet. I really don't mind a little bit of writing. I think that'll look cute. So just stitching this down. I want to stitch around here too, like I want to go around all of those just in a backing stitch, and then maybe do, I've got more, I could probably do some French knots in there, and maybe do the lines, because I was going to do French knots here, but it might take away from that real pretty. Maybe I'll just do some lines on here in that similar colour. I don't want to take away from that centre because it is quite lovely. So that's the focal point really on that, even though it's off to one side. Okay. Yep. My husband goes, geez, it's going to be quite heavy. I'm like, yeah, well, it's still not really that heavy. But it is a jacket, so, and you know, this being the sleeve, I really did want to stick to the middle. Don't worry about the sides, and even then you're going to miss some of these bits and pieces. So I'm just wondering whether I stitch this down with this. Okay, bits of threads everywhere because it's already got that blue on the back on here, and you know you're not going to get a perfect match to that. So if I do this and just do enough to hold it down, I was actually thinking of doing like a running stitch along there to hold it down even further, but I might just do this. Well, unlike that, I don't mind that flapping, whereas this I think needs to be stitched down. It's like the you know, the bottom of this part on the fronts and the back. You don't mind keeping and having it sort of loose a bit as long as it's attached on the top. So as long as I have a stitch that goes along there, which I might do in that blue that I've got, so it looks like it was always supposed to be that way. I'm really enjoying this piece. I'll be taking it with me, hopefully. I'm aiming to have it ready for when I go to Corinne's thing in Hervey Bay, so the girls can have a look. And perfect piece to take along, that way I don't have to take any other pieces. It's got all the sort of, you know, Susie style stitching on it, because we're going to be working on a piece over there, which I think that's going to be my piece that I will be working on. I may bring something, but you know, like when you go to any retreat, you don't finish what you're working on. So I'll probably just be working on the piece that we're doing in the retreat, the box with the houses. Can't go wrong with houses. So yeah, see, I don't want to take too much because that box is going to be heavy and I'm going to have to take that back with me. So I have to be careful. How heavy I make it. You know, not to put too much in my suitcase. That's what I'm going to say. Turns out you start off doing little slip stitches and then you end up doing this, and you can sort of see it, but at least I know it's going to be held down, which suits me better. Yeah, so yeah, when I was yabbering away to Corinne, I could only just sort of place this. So this is like what I've done here, 3 hours of stitching. You don't think, because you're sitting there yapping, you know, you don't realise, because I don't base it, I don't time how many hours, you just stitch. But then when you finish the call, it tells you how long your call was, and you're like, wow, 3 hours? Okay. Yeah, it's good to have a stitching buddy. So if you can't, you know, get together with people in their places, you know, go on Messenger and do FaceTime, and it doesn't, you know, unlike some of these other places that actually cost you, it doesn't cost you anything. And you can just, more often than not, we don't even look at each other, we're just busy stitching, and then look up when, you know, she's got something to show me, or, you know, valid point, and you need to look at, you know, you look at them rather than doing your own thing. So it's like you've got to in your room with you, a bit like when you go onto YouTube, like now with me. I'm just yabbering away, and you're doing your stitching, and I'm just stitching, yapping to you while I'm stitching in the background. I thought I'd do some of this. I've also got a little bit more to do on my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. That's why I started this, because I said, oh, I want to film the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, you know, for the girls, for the subbies, not just the girls. There's some guy subbies too. So I did this, and now my next video is me stitching this because I've gotten started. But I do want to, I've done a little bit more. You know, I stitched the stem on the cherry for on top of my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and then it's going a bit weird. And what else? I started working on the paddy pan, and I thought I'll start it and then I'll show you what I'm doing on camera. And I wasn't going to do a little leaf, but I've created one, and I may just have one leaf because I've got some sari silk that I think works really well with it. Geez, you've got to be careful. Got to really stretch it. Yeah, when you're making these, I think I'm going to move that out of the way because it seems to be bothering. Okay. I don't want to rethread. I know I can finish it, but it's cutting it fine. Just pulling it so that it's now, do I do it underneath? No, I'm going to do it on top because there's more room. But I might stitch around the yo-yo, like, you know, do a couple of little stitches and bits and pieces. I think that'd be cute. I haven't done that yet. So I might do that on both of these just so they're a little bit different. See, I made it. Oh. Even though it keeps coming out. Okay. So yeah, just keep an eye on my website. I'll put stuff up, and you know, if I remember, I will mention it in videos when I'm doing stuff. I don't want to have a separate video just for, you know, new bits and pieces, but because I had a lot of bits and pieces, you know, my the shirts pack, and still got some of those fabric embellishing fabric book packs as well, which, you know, I've kept one for myself, but I've even had to take out pieces of that because I didn't have enough for another pack that I was working on. What was that? Oh yeah, the ones with the corner tablecloths. That's the one. Okay, now I'm using this because when I was using the thicker thing, it was really struggling to get through because this is an old doona cover, and you know, it's not as easy to get through, and then you've got all these layers. Okay, what do we want? We want a darker one, or do we want to go with this one? Yeah, I'm going to go with that one, sort of the better colour. Maybe I do a running stitch on both. Seems to be the theme of this. I mean, I love doing fly stitch and all that kind of stuff, but when it's something that's going to be wearable, you just want to get it down and you know, just down enough so you can, it's safe enough to wash. And because there's so much to have on there, you can be a bit more fancy when you've got a smaller piece, but when you've got a big piece, you just go with the flow of how, you know, something nice without going over the top. And because it's quite tough to get through, as you can see, running stitch is good. Okay. Yep. Might be a bit close. Try and see, I automatically pull it towards myself. I'll just make myself a little more comfortable and push in. Might see the top of my head. Yeah, I just love this piece. Rachel's fabric is just beautiful, and this is just so perfect because it's in the reds and blues. I just love it. Such a great concept, and I'm so glad that, you know, she's doing really well with it. She deserves it because she's been doing this for years, and you know, she makes her books, but she loves sewing too, so it's nice that she's getting that part out. And for all the ones that, like us, I mean, I used to do journals, so I do appreciate the journal part, but my love really is slow stitching. Even though I did journals quite full on for about 2.5 years, and I loved it, but I'm just not a journaler. I thought there's only so many journals I can make. It was the putting in the pages that I hated, the stitching of the pages. That it was tedious. So, not funny. I was, you know, good at it, and I made quite nice journals, but you know, not that. Didn't like all aspects of it, whereas I love stitching. Always have. And it's and ironic that the part I didn't like the most was the stitching part, but it's just they didn't always line up, and you know, they could break, and yeah. So I just do simpler stuff. I don't mind making you know, a fabric journal. That's why I got those packs. I wouldn't mind making a fabric journal. Just putting some of the, you know, nice fabrics in there that I really like. And then I might go around on that side as well. Either that, or a stitch around here, which will fill it in a little bit. I may do that. Stitch, and one last one. So what I'll do is I'll finish this off, and I'll stitch on the yo-yo, and then see if I need to do another running stitch. There we go, that works. Now, do we use that, or we just use this? Needs a good iron. That's what I need. See how you know, it puckers, it pulls up once it irons, but you know, stitching always pulls it in. That's why you always go bigger than what you need. Great suggestion from the lady. It's something that you do know, but you need reminding every now and again. Just going to do, you know, some stitches going around. I'll make them a little bigger than what I've got around here, just a bit wider, odd sizes. I quite like having, I'm going to go for a few layers with this one. There we go. Oh, cute. I like it. It's a great little yo-yo, and see, because it's fairly high and close to it, I reckon I may not need to do that extra line. Windy. Have a shorter one and then a longer one, because we're getting out to the wider bit, so has it got a hot knot in it? No, it doesn't, but see how they fray like that? You need to cut it every now and again because it tends to tangle. And you know what? I think it does have a knot in it. Seriously. Oh, you little bugger. I might just go to there, because I reckon it probably doesn't need it there. Be like a little sunshine, so I'm gonna be difficult for me for a little while this knot keeps coming through. There we go. Especially on that part. I've been getting lots of good reports on this, and I even had one lovely lady show me her piece on the Facebook page, and it looks gorgeous. I think hers was sort of like, she did shishiko type stitching. Beautiful. Some talented people out there, I can tell you. You're all pretty good. You always think that, you know, everyone else is better than what you are, but you know, we're all unique and pretty talented in our own right. Everybody just has their own style. Oh, I'm just really worried it's gonna break on me, and I'll really be annoyed. Come on. Okay. Struggle is real, people. Now, but I'm not going to waste the fabric. I mean, there's thread just because it's got a knot in it. But it does prove to be tedious, or we're getting close to the edge now, so it may stay under. There we go. There it is. There, little bugger. Oop. There we go. Yay! Go around this way now. Now, do I continue? Ah, yeah, why not? Hey, since we got the thread and we're not struggling so much anymore, I might as well, but you probably won't see it because it's the same colour as this. So what I might do is make it a little bit shorter on that end and come in a little higher on the actual yo-yo. There we go. Just some quick stitching. Okay. So, how are you all going with your projects? Oh, seen some beautiful still life ones. Oh, gorgeous. And I'm loving doing my little cupcake. Once I finish that, I've got to go back to doing finishing my floral pieces, which I was going to do more of the leaves, but I'm like, I'll probably I might just stitch around some of them. You know, not as, yeah, don't know, we'll see how we go, because I started doing some sari silk on some of the leaves and they do look good, but I don't want to do it on all of them. I just want to do some here and there. So, now I've got change of plans where I was going to put my piece. Was going to be in the lounge room, but now that my son's in there, goodness knows how long he's going to be in there. He doesn't look like he's got any intention of moving. I might have to put it in here. I do have broom just up here on my above this shelf that's, you know, holding this. I've got room on the back wall where the it might look really lovely on that where the wallpaper is, but I was gonna do some of the stitcheries there, but yeah, I'll see how it go. Sometimes you got to change your plans, a bit like how Corinne, you know, had all it doing it on the wall, and then Gary, you know, I think not that he doesn't like her piece, he just didn't want it on that particular wall. So, okay, yeah, I think that looks good. What do you think, Kay? So, what we got left to do here, where is it? No, I've got one's empty and one's, just add a little bit here and there, just so I don't have to have so many pins. I don't think we're needing some new bits. This is all I got, some refills. Oh, that reminds me, Gales has got 20% off for a couple of weeks, and I ran into one of the girls, and yeah, so that was sitting on top of the bin just as well. I found that, yeah, so I might go back in and you know, maybe get some bits and pieces, because she's away in New Zealand and the girls are doing a sale for her workers, and I ran into one of the girls in the post office where she's doing posting stuff off for you guys if you don't live, you know, close. So yeah, so 20% off everything store-wide, and that would include online. So Gail's Patchwork Emporium, just go on to, you know, Google that, it'll take you to the website. So here we go, that's a little better. Now make sure I put it right. want it to go in like that. That's why I had to do all this stitching first. Then we got this guy. Might stitch him down first. He's going here because I've got that piece on the other side. Yeah, I sort of want to come in because, you know, that's towards the edge, so because you want to see some of it. So we'll pin that part down later. For now, I'll just pin it down. And then we'll work on this guy. Might have just one pin in the middle, even though it'll be all right. Now, what colour were we going to do on you? I think it needs, even though it's mostly red, I think we do need a little bit of red. Here's my pin. Oh! So I'm sticking to this red because I've got a lot of it. Whereas some of the other reds I don't have as much. I'm glad I can get it through. Okay, where's my scissors? There they are, and then I'm just going to check how long I've been yabbering for, and if I'm in camera, which I am. Oh, 42 minutes, geez, I can talk. Now, okay, well, yeah, got the basic idea. I'm just going to do the same stitch that I've been doing on all the others, just on that, unless I do a running stitch, and that will continue to have the illusion of the, because it's, I might do that. What do you think? We'll have a look. Have it on the edge, and then this guy can, because I want it to be looking like a post stamp, and then do small, I'm going to have to do small little stitches. Might have to do one at a time on the edges. Yeah, I think I will keep it like that. Kind of cute. I've got so much of this stitching on here. I don't want to take away from that little postage stamp look. Yeah, I like that. Okay, well, I will go. I've got to do that, put this on. Probably to show. And I'm going to stitch around that. I'll probably stitch around that in this darker colour. I think that'd be really nice. And then do some of the darker stripes here and maybe some light or in brown around there. So that should look good. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, go and check out some of the nice pieces. So these are a bit cheaper. You still get a good size piece for $20, which is good. Especially for 75-year-old fabric. But if you want a really nice piece where you can really do a big chunk of work, go for the ones with the lilies on it. So there's only 4 of them. Yeah. Okay, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.